All right. So let me explain a little bit of what happened. Thursday night, I was putting together the video I put up on Friday, which was edited. It's about 6 minutes long, had a script and all the rest of that good stuff. And right after I finished editing the video, after I'd written the script earlier in the afternoon, Trump put out the tweet about being infected. And I decided I wasn't going to speak about it, like cancel out the video I have for Friday for one talking about him because at the time the only thing we had was the tweet, and he went to the hospital later on yesterday. But I just didn't think I had enough information to address it in any kind of interesting way slash way that would be a little bit different from the other commentator. So that was why today is the even though it happened technically on Thursday night, this is the first time I'm actually addressing it because it just has too many people talking about it for me to really believe I'm saying anything that is that interesting. There was a user this past Saturday when I did my previous live show who claimed that the virus was fake and then said that they thought I was intelligent before I got rid of them. But in hindsight, a part of me is glad that that person wrote that because I don't want people who can look at a disease that has killed 200,000 people and say that that was like made up, that all those people who are dead are just like going to rise up from their graves, something buffoonish. So those kind of individuals that would be so accustomed to denying reality, I'm really glad when they don't watch me. There's a myth among people who are, I guess, smaller on this website that the more people you have watching you is like automatically a good thing, and I'm very much against that idea because there are certain belief systems I want to not be around. Just like I was on Twitter yesterday, and some of the stuff I read on that website made me feel like an angel because I was sitting here all yesterday saying, "Oh, I hope Trump recovers," and you have these progressives, regressive liberals, whatever, who were celebrating this man catching a disease and in some cases actually cheering for it to become a fatality. And it just, like I said, I don't consider myself a good or decent person, but when people on that website are able to make me look like this, what's a good way of saying it, morally high ground individual, it's really amazing. Like it speaks more to how gross they are than how nice I am when I'm able to look at that and say that's going too far. It did seem like it was a pretty unanimous opinion among the progressive commentators. So I saw David Pakman's video on it, uh, and he also said that he hoped Trump recovered, along with Cenk and the other people I watch that talked about it. Yeah, they all responded to it much quicker than I did. I just was at a point where I figured if I did a stream that night, where I like put it in the title, I knew that it would probably get more views than usually because there's a thing when if a news story happens and you're up and you respond to it immediately, people who never watch you will come to it. But again, it's one of those things about diminishing returns where even if you're able to get more views that particular day from this big story, you can't count on most of those people to actually show up again. Because I did that when Bolton was announced by Trump to be, leaving. I had about, I think, 18, 19, some number that is unusual for a stream of mine that attended. And out of that whole group of people I'd never seen before who came, only one person was like a recurring individual on my channel until they acted stupid and I got rid of them. But yeah, it's a really surprising story. And I guess to kind of paraphrase what Kyle said, when you have someone who didn't wear a mask over and over and over again and kept doing things such as having these big rallies and again people not socially distancing and was still able to just not get the disease over and over, you almost start to think that person is immune. Like I said before that Trump has plot armor, So he can like do things that normal people would, be sick over and not end up getting in any kind of actual trouble with his health. But apparently that was just me, thinking one thing and then reality doing the opposite. So I think he'll probably recover maybe in about a few days because he's getting the best treatment out of anybody. I just wish that his, I guess, staff or people that run the White House would actually give us some more updates than what they're doing. And then Pence is being dumb as well, except I guess he thinks that since he's younger, he doesn't have to worry about catching it. It was kind of fun to watch people actually talk about the presidential line of succession because usually they don't address that ever, like outside of, the vice president takes over if the president dies or resigns or whatever. They mentioned that Pelosi would take over after that, and then if she doesn't want to do it, then Grassley would take over. It was pretty nice because that's usually a very important thing that gets skimmed over. Like they don't actually address or talk about that. I mean, I thought he would have got it 3 months because of the people around were getting infected. Well, yeah, but you get what I'm saying of how he just kept doing things that were diametrically opposed to someone who doesn't want to get the disease and just kept not getting it. It's kind of like if every night I tell James, don't walk out at night or somebody will rob you, and then every night he just walks out at night and nobody robs him, nobody says anything. And then one day it ends up happening and it surprises you, even though you said this would happen, because of how many times he was able to do it and not get robbed. I think you understand what I'm saying. That's not so much the fact that he got it, but rather just how long it took and after how many different, I won't call them stunts, but acts of, I guess, negligence. But like I said, this is an aggravating website. People on here have really tried to drive me crazy for the last couple of weeks. Because I did come close on Thursday night to doing a stream like an impromptu one. Uh, but again, I figured it would the long term effects of it weren't worth it. Look at me, I got 20 more views than usual. Yay. They actually have this one guy on here. I'm not going to say his name because he's kind of goofy. Every time there's a news story, he does like a must be 4, 5, 6 hour long stream getting news coverage for it. And there was this one story about this YouTuber that ended up dying, and like when he announced that the person had died, he sounded so fake in terms of actually being affected by it. Like some people just say this person has been confirmed dead. They'll just say it in like in a monotone way. He tried to make it sound as if this was like the worst thing he'd ever heard. He was like, "What? No!" Like remember Darth Vader's scream at the end of Revenge of the Sith? No, that was him. Except a lot less, I guess, passionate. Also, I'm getting ready to ban James because I found out he put out his debut album and he didn't even tell me about it. So we have this talented musician in my comment section that won't actually endorse any of his music over here because apparently I'm not good enough to hear his tunes. So let me get my Thanos, my Infinity Gauntlet. This is his last day. And then Ruben says, Rachel Maddow said that she hopes Trump gets better and liberals are now seething. Yeah, if you go on Twitter, it's a complete clown show. You had people who were upset that she said that she hopes Trump gets better. You had people who were upset that Obama said that he hopes Trump gets better. And in the comment section for Obama's tweet, they're like, "Why don't you say what you really feel?" Like, well, damn, I'm sure he doesn't like him, but just because you don't like someone, you think they deserve to die. And how would you know what his real feelings are on this man's health? Because it is customary for heads of state, whether they're former ones or current ones, to wish good health on another head of state, regardless of party affiliation. So it was kind of just like a run of the mill tweet. But because Obama usually doesn't directly address Trump, it was just this big, huge story. How could he say he hopes this man gets better when we know he hates him? Check Bernie's comment section. It's even worse. Oh, I saw, they, you know how they are. They've gone after him for saying that after McCain died. They went after him for saying after, I think he said something when the older Bush died. Any person you can think of that is like moderately right wing and he says something decent about, or at least not evil, like antagonistic, they go and lose their minds. It would be funny if someone in my comment section is like, you say you hope Trump gets better, but does that explain the videos you've made criticizing? I was like, when have I ever done a video where I said I hope he is in bad health or any of that trash? I don't know who this Vince person is. But since he's asking a legitimate question, or at least something that's not ridiculous, I'll say decent. That happens on every stream. Is that one person you've never seen before? Yeah, there is a big problem with progressives and just wanting to. What is this? We go way back here. Just, oh, I think maybe I might recognize the screen name, but you changed your picture or something, because that sometimes throws me off. Trump is outflanking Democrats from the left. People are now outraged that Bernie said something decent about the evil orange man. We know how they are. They get upset whenever you say anything remotely okay about that person. Because I told you, Ruben, there's a lot of progressives. They don't make videos, but they're on places like Twitter and Discord where they hate almost every single politician just because. To where even if you give like 10 different examples of how that one is different from most of them or whatever the hell, they still will hate that person and dislike you for liking that person or saying anything decent about them. Like when you had the progressives that were mad at Kamala for her criminal justice record as attorney general, and then they still don't like Booker, even though he has probably the best criminal justice record out of any of the Democrats. So it's just a game of like never being satisfied with anybody at all. It was just yesterday Trump was mocking Hillary's health. Tables turn, bridges burn, you live and learn. He's trying to quote that Sonic Adventure 2 theme song. Yeah, it is kind of ironic that on Tuesday he was like mocking the mask. Now we're finally seeing him wear one, or at least we finally saw him wear one yesterday. But we had seen him before, but rarely. But Ruben, I know you're aware of those progressives. They have a problem with everybody. Like if you find a politician that they complain about certain stuff of, they just jump to something else on the other person. The virus is the best thing that could have happened to him. Oh, yeah. Well, they're trying to assassinate a lot of people. If all these different individuals have caught it, we've got 3 senators who've caught it in the last 2 days. The RNC chairwoman, his third campaign manager, so Kellyanne, and then the current one. The others will support him more because their dad is sick. Or remember what they said about the October surprise, that in the month of October, there's always that one shocking thing that happens before the election. So last time it was the Hollywood Access tape with the grab him by the you know what comment. That old tape from over 10 years before the last election. And now it's him and his wife catching this disease. So there's always that one thing that happens in the last couple of weeks before the election that flips things on its head. I almost forgot about that. Hey, well, I said before, I paid attention to stuff for a long time. And they pulled up a tape. This was 2016. They pulled up a tape from 11 years before that election to try and like get people to not vote for him. It didn't work. Those leftoids you are talking about unironically want to destroy the USA. I have no idea how they will accomplish that. Yeah, they're just rebels without a cause. If they have politicians that vote the way they want and then they still get mad at them or don't like them, it really kind of seems like you can't do what like anything at all to appease these people. We're also at a point though where people are voting their party instead of preferred candidate. Not me. Again, it's just because they've been using the scare tactic. If you don't vote for the Republican, the Democrat is going to win, and then they're going to make abortion accessible everywhere in blue. They are really running on the new Red Scare, where every Democrat is a socialist. Even the ones that oppose Sanders on everything are socialists. Even the Twilight Zone. Where did James go after he got exposed with that new album? He vanished. But even the Electoral College rep is so blackmailed to vote their party. Their voting record gets dangled around every election time. Oh well. I mean, you have a lot of conservatives that will get mad at liberals for wanting to get rid of the Electoral College, but the only reason they even like the Electoral College is because out of the last 30 years of presidential elections, only two times have the Republicans won the popular vote. So they know that if it's up to the popular vote, they will lose every time. I bet Ruben didn't know that between 88 and 2016, the Republicans have only won the popular vote twice. So they're real worried about not being able to keep on retaining the vote. Resistance liberals support the Electoral College overwhelmingly up until 2016 president. Yeah, they even supported it when Gore lost. And think how crazy that is. Out of the last, and Jimmy brings this up all the time, out of the last 5 presidential elections, 40% of them have been won by the person who got less votes. So that means the actual vote of the people only mattered 3/5 of the time. Yeah, we are still told to go out and vote. Well, that's why I don't really care because I live in a blue state that has voted for the Democrats in every single election since 88, 92. Actually, so I don't really see the point in getting all freaked out and jumping around. And if it has high chance of being the deciding factor, well, it's only the deciding factor if you live in like 5 or 6 different states. So maybe if I lived in somewhere like Florida or Michigan, I might, get freaked out. But in a state that the Democrats literally win by millions of votes every single election, I don't really see the point. Seems like no one votes in the elections that matter, and everyone votes in the one that doesn't. Yeah, well, I talk about how people don't vote in the gubernatorial or Senate elections or congressional elections. They only get freaked out and start jizzing themselves over the presidential ones. I was going on Google. I'll look at whatever you write after this. Is when I'm going my email. First, I was going on Google. Now I was going to my email. Yeah, that could be the whole stream. I just surf on the internet while people write stuff and I don't even see it. Okay, off topic, but what the hell? Hey, that's just like a thing we do now where a different man comments on my appearance every stream. Oh my god. I've been looking at your skin. Man, that is crazy. Do you think that Biden got COVID too after the debate? Well, didn't they test him yesterday and he came up negative? Him and Trump really weren't that close to each other, and we still don't know specifically if Trump had the disease at the debate. So I'm leaning toward no. Yeah, yesterday he tested negative. You didn't see the speech where he was wearing the Optimus Prime mask? And I have the craziest subs in the world. Like I've never seen a group of people who they won't comment on any of your videos, but then if you do a stream, they want to write like a novel. That's really insane. I even had one sub who came. Vince didn't see this. I had one person who came to what was it, 3 of my streams in a week, uh, and then like got mad that I wouldn't read their comment, so they would just keep writing stuff until they annoyed me enough to say something. What's insane about it? Well, if someone claims they don't write anything on any of the videos because they can't think of something to say, and then they're writing paragraphs on a stream, I would think that they have something to say if they can write paragraphs on a stream. Because doesn't it take less thought to write a sentence versus a paragraph? Just saying. Perhaps the feedback or engagement is more alluring than a video now in the past. Yeah, but if someone wants to get larger or grow on this website, and the only way they can do this is if people thumb the video up or comment on it, aren't you actively participating and not assisting that person in growing? I even had one of my subs who said on a stream, does hitting the like button even make a difference? Like, no, they just put that there so people can brag about how many likes they have. YouTube just said we're gonna have this button that means nothing. That's why every time you see a video with 1 million views, it has like hundreds of thousands of likes just as a joke, just as a bragging right. Taking without giving anything back. Well, I just think it's really ridiculous that, like, I'm not asking for somebody to donate, but when you have a free thing you can do, whether it's click a button or comment, I just don't understand where that's like a very difficult thing you're unable to do actively. I personally think the electoral vote shouldn't exist. That's because you joined the Republicans, so we know what your incentive is. Let me tell you what happened when James was about 7 or 8 years old in the lead up to the 2008 election. He sat down with some of the different Republicans in Congress, McConnell and the rest of the crew, and he said, "We've only won the popular vote in 2 elections in the last 20 years, so we got to make sure that we never they never get rid of the electoral vote." He said this we can't always rely on 88 and 2000 to 2004 to pull this off. You make a good point, though. I'll be more mindful. I'm just saying, there's a part of me that kind of gets the not commenting thing, but if it's literally just clicking a button, I really don't understand. Like even with the bigger channels I watch, whether it's David Pakman or TYT or Jimmy or any of those different people, if I like what they're saying in the video, I always thumb it up. Like there's no person I watch regularly who I don't thumb their stuff up at the very least, at a minimum. No, we see Music Fiend's lack of comments. We know he's not there. We know he plays the vanishing act each week. Hey, he's Henry Houdini on my videos. You don't see him, and then he shows up on a stream, just pops up in smoke. No, they don't thumb up anything. But that sub was hilarious because AOU, you remember who that was, right? This is ridiculous. I can't believe he won't read my comments. And then tried to compare me having like VAs not say anything because when you work on a project, you're supposed to communicate. He really tried to compare that to me not reading his comments on the stream. Like think of how nuts that is. When you sign to a project, you enter a code of agreement with this person. They tell you up front what they want, and when you don't respond, it inhibits their ability to actually do the thing you signed up for. And you're going to compare that to you showing up on somebody's channel and writing some comments and them just not reading them is like driving you nuts. So I said, people on here just always find a way to spin stuff. The challenge. Well, I mean, I have a lot of ridiculous people on here. Now that comment you made earlier is like the third. That makes this like the third or fourth stream in a row where there's been some different man who's made a comment about my appearance. Like, can you guys stop? I don't know what the appeal of that is. I just find that very unusual. Don't take it the wrong way. I mean that respectfully, just watching you get at least before the politics. Uh, okay, I don't know what you mean by that because Literally since my inception on here, it's been political stuff. Like you can actually go to my oldest videos and it was political stuff. Oh, you know what? Uh, James, there was this one guy on this other website. I mean, you're going to differ with reality. I've had political content on here from before any romance trash. But James, there was a guy who like posted one of my videos on another website. He was like, "Too bad he stopped making these to do the political ones." What? Because I've never heard of someone doing something simultaneously. Like if you start talking about sports, apparently that's when you stop doing the political ones. You can't just do both at the same time. Man, people love retconning and having what do you call it, head canons of what actually is reality. Like imagine being able to prove that you first did political stuff and then having people say, "No, you didn't first do that." I felt the same way, but I've since embraced it. Oh well. I don't really know what they're talking about because I already said I don't actively talk to chicks anymore, so that makes it to where there wouldn't be any reason to address that stuff as commonly. Yeah, people are very weird, but again, it's like we can actually prove by virtue of what is on this channel that the oldest stuff was political, and then you have these people claiming that I just abandoned that to talk about politics. Like it's not my opinion that they're wrong. I can actually prove that what they're saying is incorrect, and they would be able to see that they're incorrect. They did the teeniest bit of research, but you know, people's attention spans on here are pretty worthless. You probably don't remember the guy that wrote me the comment that was so long I couldn't even screenshot it. And then when I responded to him, he was like, "I didn't even read more than a few sentences of that." I was like, "All right, well, bye." How the hell are you gonna write me a comment that looks like a a kindergartner's essay, and then I'm responding back, and you're like, "I've only read the first few sentences." I'm like, all right, bye bye. Perhaps the lens you view the world through is soiled by the same politics you study. Yeah, I don't. That kind of sounds like a riddle. What do you mean? Not everything is weird or of negative connotation. What my pronouns would be. Well, hell, when you're on this website, everything you do is weird or of negative connotation. Like I've been insulted over my voice, my appearance, my glasses, what I was speaking about, what I didn't speak about. So, like, you can't tell the person who gets told everything they do is bad that they shouldn't view other people as bad. Because we had a guy on here the week, what was it, the week before last? Whenever I did that stream about why men are obsessed with me, and he was like, "Maybe you shouldn't criticize people so harsh." I was like, "Well, hell, they started doing that to me." So you're gonna tell me I gotta tie my hands and let them talk all this trash about me, and then they get to control. I have to like uh respond back in a nice manner. To hell with that. Like I'm supposed to handicap myself so they can feel better. How is that fair? Trust a little. I'm not a woman. I can be trusted. Oh, just because somebody's not a woman, that doesn't mean that you automatically can trust them. Because I literally had a guy on here who watched me for a year get mad that I asked him to apologize and then make a video accusing me of being gay. And then said in the comment section that I wasn't like relevant enough to try and hash things out with, as he's like, I'm not the person he spent hours making a video on isn't relevant enough to address directly, but they are relevant enough to spend hours making a video on. No, that's nuts. Like I said, I've been backstabbed, accused of random crap. I don't. This is what's that documentary about Malcolm X called "The Hate That Hate Produced"? That's what this is. You didn't want to get insulted by me. You shouldn't have insulted me. You can compare your interpersonal relationships with backstabbers to politics. Same thing, different. Geopolitical sphere. Well, I already said all of it was connected before that. You can find a lot of similarities in the way people act in these different fields. Because a lot of people that are into politics don't go on Senate.gov or the House Votes website and actually see what the ways people vote. So if you inform them, hey, this person you claim to hate votes this way, they act all surprised or they say you're lying or whatever the hell. Or they accept that that person voted that way and still have a problem with them. But yeah, I'm not gonna neuter my rhetoric because somebody else. I'm not going to neuter what I say when someone else gets to speak whatever kind of way they want to me. Bernie is currently campaigning for Biden Harris Democrats in New Hampshire by himself. I just picture Ruben sitting behind his computer giggling. I gotta go for a bit, but I will leave you with one thing before I leave. What the hell? He says that, then a pot of gold appears on my computer. Like, oh, thanks. That's gonna be the one thing he left. Because I remember I was really pissed over the I guess the reception to that Vegeta video I did. I was like, wow, I just sat here and got all these screenshots and wrote out this script, and we can't even get 100 views on that thing. Wouldn't want to weird you out. Hey, too late for that. This website has enough of people who do that. I just think it's funny that Bernie is doing more campaigning for the Democrats than they are once again. Well, yeah, I mean, you got to remember last cycle, he campaigned for Hillary more than anybody except members of her family. And then, after giving him that letter a couple days before the election saying she was so happy that he had done this for her, and she backstabbed in a documentary talking about nobody likes him and he hurt me and all this trash. So I said Democrats are I mean, the Republicans do it too, but that was just such a blatant example of stabbing someone in the back. Same thing with Warren. Oh, by the way, on the video I did with her and Ro Khanna, I said at the start of it, my favorite congressman and backstabber have joined forces. And this one guy, I've never seen him before, but that's usually how this happens, wrote some like paragraph long comment. And I was just sitting there kind of like scratching my head because I was, when you first see it, you're like, what the hell? And they're like, this website makes people like you think they have a platform, and you call Warren a backstabber. But and then I got yanked it. I didn't care enough to read the rest because in the actual video, I didn't speak negatively about her beyond that first like sentence. So that means he heard the first sentence and then went to type, his quarter of a novel. Now, when you start telling me that I supposedly don't have a platform but everybody else does, I'm good. And what the hell does a platform have to do with having the right to have an opinion? Like I've never, what's a good way of saying it? I've never done that to somebody else where to address what they say, I have to claim that, what's a good way of saying it? I have to like personally attack them in the sense that everybody, by virtue of being online and having an account, theoretically has a platform in the sense that uh, the account of the Young Turks, even if it has 4 million more subs than me, is not automatically better than mine. You know, they can upload videos, I can upload videos. Uh, if they don't have a platform, I don't know who the hell does. It basically, like, if any of us can put up videos, how does that make one of us more able to say they have a platform than the other? It's just weird. So I said, people on this website, like every time I see some comment that like looks a little crazy, I just picture it's one of those, you know, they have these people where you tell them to write something and they type it. Like I just picture the person that's telling the other person to write something just wearing a stray jacket in some some insane asylum because of the stuff they choose to get focused on. Like that is nuts. You got what was a 3 minute video and you respond to one sentence? Because people do that when I do a stream too. That like where they'll watch it a year later and they're like, "You said this. What the hell?" Like, no way. Like they don't do that when they watch a movie where they respond to that one sentence and then don't watch the rest of it. Oh, I know that. Well, yeah, I'm fully aware of how meaningless they are because, like I said, TYT has 4 million subs and they can't even get 200,000 views usually. So most of their subs are dead. But at the same time, usually if someone acts crazy on here, it's someone I've never seen before, or I've only seen maybe once or twice. Also, about a week ago, somebody pissed me off because what did they do? TYT and CNN are anti-Trump programs. I mean, so is this one. The hell? Kevin, this isn't a Trump-friendly zone. You need to leave. This is a smaller one, anti-Trump one, but it's still an anti-Trump one. We're just not as blatant. Like I'd rather not talk about him than talk about him. Is usually what ends up happening. Those are anti-Trump programs. So it's here. What the hell? Give me a second. They call you not to say anything, but all their content is about him. He means that they're resistance liberals and the hatred they want to promote towards him. I don't know. Cenk actually was one of the few, I guess, supposedly resistance people I've seen that isn't, happy that this man caught this illness. And apparently, those resistance shows are well liked if they've got, 100 more subs than me. Hillary has more racist records than Trump did. Oh, I know the super predator stuff. Well, that's why I can't take TYT seriously because during the campaign they were talking about Biden and the 94 crime bill and all this other crap, and then after he gets the nomination, they sweep down under the rug and they start, sounding like they're surrogates for him. Because even if I think one is better than the other, I'm still not voting for either one of them. I think they're both bad. Hey, Ruben, you better unsub from this anti-Trump. What am I also one of the? I'm an anti-Trump program. This is another arch nemesis network for him. I used to be a little conservative, but I'm in between observing the lunacy on both sides. Well, I already said I'm progressive, but I don't support either party. But Kevin, you better get out of here. This anti-Trump program is really dangerous. We already know James supports Trump. That's why all of his songs are doused in red, and you see MAGA in the background. No, I'm one of the dangerous places. If I said I supported Trump, would I be banned to oblivion? I mean, I really don't care. My biggest problem with them is that if you don't support them, they come and mess with you and start trolling and all the rest of that. So it's more a matter of them being intolerant than the other way around. You see, all he needs to do is follow his own medical advice. I don't say that. I don't want to get caught reading that and they're like, he's encouraging suicide. And no, I'm not. That's what somebody else wrote. How do you think President Pence will manage the nation? Like trash? Yeah, that's how I think he'll manage it. Like all 7 wars are going to keep going. The defense budgets are just going to keep getting bigger. I mean, they've already got rid of the ACA, but they have no replacement healthcare plan. I guess maybe they might drudge out the what was that crap called the American Healthcare Act, Trump Care, whatever term you want to use for it, the one that failed to pass. Uh, he'll just be garbage, but he'll be garbage that you won't see on TV every day because he doesn't do the tweets. No, just a straight clown. I don't see how anyone finds him appealing. Like at least Trump is kind of amusing. You know, we'll do some funny stuff at a rally, uh, and we'll say some anti-war stuff here and there. But Pence is just complete garbage. Like just next level trash. Because there are a lot of Republicans I give credit to for having some views I like. Like I said, that Rand Paul's actually really good on international issues. Um, and then Collins, I do videos defending. So there are different ones I can say I probably like or am okay with the idea of them, being president. But as far as Pence, you can throw them in the trash. Utterly worthless. Poverty was a wasted mastermind. Well, I already did my video on that yesterday. Oh, thanks. I hope you liked it and thumbed it up. That's what I meant by liked it, like thumbed it. Not liked as in actually thought what I said was provoking or uh, had some level of thought put into it. Oh, I'm so flattered. I might just blush. I'll have cheeks filled with red as I do a stream on a website I dread. But yeah, Twitter is a really nasty website. I do plan on doing some more videos where I just take a bunch of screenshots and highlight all the stupid stuff they say. Because again, there are dumb people on here, but the main appeal of YouTube are the videos. So generally, if you avoid the comment section, you can avoid most of the dumb stuff that's said on here. But Jesus Christ, Twitter is so like I've never been on a website outside of Discord that just made my stomach turn every time I logged in. Again, Discord's actually decent if you're not on anybody else's server because you can avoid a lot of the ridiculousness on there through that. Pence is boring, though mainstream media will no longer be able to get away with spamming Orange Man, bad tabloids everywhere anymore. Yeah, that's the one silver lining of him, I guess, taking over, that you won't see his face on TV every day. But that means a lot of his wicked, villainous ways will be what you call it in the background. I don't know if Mo Money is laughing at what Ruben wrote or my response to it. It's gotten to the point that Twitter discourse is now even worse than 4chan discourse. Oh, don't mention that website. That one's also bad from what I've seen, but I've never had an account on there, so I'm not going to do anything. Oh, damn, I forgot. Ruben, you probably didn't watch Jimmy's stream yesterday. He was doing it with this, what's that journalist's name? Damn. But there's a journalist that's kind of, I don't remember what his name was. But anyways, they were talking and they were mentioning their Wikipedia pages, and they were discussing how on Wikipedia they have people on there like Philip Cross. They actually said this guy's name. He's not somebody I've interacted with, but I know who that is, who edits like 40 times a day, and you're like, who has the time to do that? And they mentioned how if you oppose what they do on there, they will argue back and forth with you for so damn long that any normal person will just say to hell with it. Like they basically spam you with argumentative crap. Damn, it was so nice to see like an audience of 11,000 people get told of how ridiculous that website was. It was, even if they weren't going into the shenanigans of getting screwed with as an editor and harassed and stalked and all that stuff I had happen to me on there, it was just so good to see someone with a bigger group of people just trash that place. I can't wait until he puts those clips up on his account so I can cut them out and do a video responding to that. But they were mentioning how their accounts are safeguarded by this Philip Cross person who's edited one guy. Let me go see if I can actually find it. He's edited one guy's page 40% of the time. Like out of all the edits on that page, he's done 2/5 of them, which is very unusual. It was lovely seeing that site get dragged through the mud. Wiki piss. How did it come to this? Okay, Trump's real wicked ways are also on the background for mainstream media in favor of Stormy Daniels. You better watch that language. I see that curse word. But you know, it was the same thing with Obama. Remember, Trump is going to jail journalists, and Obama put journalists in jail 6 times with the Espionage Act. Trump is going to get us into a war with Iran. We already went from 2 wars to 7 with Obama. The first president ever to have their entire tenure just be war. I just remembered that Stormy Daniels herself is also implicated in a sexual assault scandal. Yeah, I heard of that. But it's funny to watch them, like, you know, assign a lot to Trump what's already happened. Like, if he continues it, I'll criticize him for it. But the originator of a lot of this stuff took place before he entered office. Yeah, well, the guy Jimmy was talking to was an independent journalist. If only I could remember his name. Let me go look. No, it was just so nice to see them trash Wiki Piss, because there is something, like, I've never seen a site where they say we want people to contribute be so antagonistic to people who contribute. There was an article written in September predicting that Trump would announce his coronavirus infection in October. It goes on to say this twist would blow Biden off the screen, and Trump will emerge 100% cured 14 days later. Well, I guess we'll see in 14 days what his status is. Let's see. Oh, Max Blumenthal is the one he was talking to. There we go. That's who his page has been like stalked by that. Because I was actually talking about being stalked as in you edit pages and then your stuff gets deleted by people who've never edited those pages before, and it's like the same person over and over just following you to different articles. Like, go away. Harass somebody else. Yeah, to hell with that website. By the way, Ruben, if you go on Trump's talk page, like the talk page for his Wikipedia page, they literally argue over every single word on there. Like, they will have debates over, do we add this sentence? No, it's too much detail. Add me on MySpace. Yeah, I'll get right to doing that. Another outdated, outclassed, outmatched website. Let me see what else is here. Follow my live journal. I'll get right to doing that. I heard about LiveJournal a long time. That's another site that just basically passed away. Yahoo Mail. I think that's still around. Yeah, the mailing systems usually are the only ones that last because they're actually useful. Oh, God. Do I have anything left to say? I think I mentioned the there was some other weird crap that happened. I've been hearing about these allegations about Biden saying that he's a pedophile. Oh, we already talked about the guy who made the account on Twitter, and I didn't take I don't have a screenshot of it directly, but I do have I can screenshot where I linked the messages, and the account was named that. The account was called Joe Biden is my favorite child predator. And I was looking at it, and this guy took this woman who got murdered last year's picture and put her avatar as put her face as the avatar. Yeah, every time I would go on there, I would laugh. But they changed their name about maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Like I said, this is the first election ever out of all of them. You can go through the 50 plus we've had, the presidential elections, where both candidates are accused of touching somebody. Out of that whole Democratic field, it was 22 people, if not more. The only two who had allegations against them like this were Biden and Bloomberg. That means the Democrats had a, what was it, 90% chance of nominating someone who didn't have these allegations. They're like, nah, we'll take the potential rapist over the progressive. And then now all the stupid Democrats that hate Trump are like, our rapist isn't as bad as their rapist. like they're actually saying that. They're like, well, he only has one accusation. Trump has 20. I'm like, but he still has one. That is nuts. Like, remember, what the hell happened to him? Remember Al Franken? And they were like, oh, we need to get rid of him, that senator. And he was supposed to, be someone that was going to run this time. Literally, he got accused by women during the start of the Me Too stuff, and I'm like, we might as well just let him run if we don't care if someone is accusing this person of touching them. Like Al Franken got railroaded out of the Senate over these accusations, and has to sit at home in Minnesota. But then now Biden's been accused by somebody, actually been accused before last year, and he's now got a 60 or 50 or whatever percent chance being president. That's why I said it's all backwards. Oh yeah, I remember. In my opinion, Gillibrand's actually one of the better Democrats, because she actually came to Omar's defense when they were trying to say that if you criticize the Israeli government, you're like hating Jewish people, which is the stupidest thing anyone ever said, because how the hell can a government be a religion? Like, if I'm president, does the government magically become Catholic? No more money. Our rapist only has one accusation. Yours has 20. That's how you know Me Too failed, because Kavanaugh still got on the court. Trump still won that election despite getting accused by chicks, during the last cycle, and I guess this one as well. Biden still got nominated despite getting accused by Tara Reid. That's how you know nobody cares about women. Certainly not ones that wait 10 years or longer to come out and say something. Like, think about this. Me Too was supposed to be this big shining light on sexual assault allegations. And the first presidential election after that started happening, that, Me Too began, both of the candidates from the major parties are accused of touching women. I received 2 voting brochures in the mail and threw them in the trash. Oh, I heard about Boogie. Me Too was a ploy. Whatever you think of it, the point of the group was supposedly to highlight sexual assault, and then both of the candidates in the first election after this group is getting all of this traction are accused of touching women. For the first time ever, both candidates from the major parties are accused. That's why I called this race a couple of gropers. So just the absolute twilight zone. Like, the defenses people put up are really incredible. I'm not even surprised, because I've seen weird defenses for like really strange behavior before this year. Like, there was this, I mentioned the one broad who had the kid she couldn't afford, and how this same person had said at one point that she thought doing that was stupid, so she was a hypocrite. And then a person who'd never met her was like, she probably has trauma in her background. Because we all know if you have trauma in your background, that makes you jump into bed without a condom. As if when you have trauma in your background, means to protect yourself from getting knocked up during screwing just like vanish, like they fade away. All the condoms combust into flames because you had trauma. So the people will put up defenses for any stupid thing that happens. It's really incredible. Oh yeah, I did a video on her, that Asia person, and some clown was like, "You pronounced her name wrong." I'm like, get out of here. Those people get caught up on all the stuff that doesn't matter. Hey, Ruben, I did a video on Iran with where I was talking about how the U.S. was wrong for killing Soleimani, and some clown from another country was like, "You Americans are," and I'm just thinking to myself, here I am defending this other country and saying the U.S. government was wrong for doing this, and you're going to accuse me of siding with these people because I'm in the same country as them. So I yanked it because again, that person didn't actually listen to the video; they just responded to the title. No, that's really annoying. Like, think of how horrible your attention span is if somebody does a 3-minute video and you can't even like watch all of that. Because I can see when it's a stream, people like to pick parts, but if it's literally less than 5 minutes, I don't understand. No, I'm done with all these people. They just say like little stupid stuff. So I said, American politics is basically just a big joke. That person didn't listen to the video. They just responded to the 50% of your comments, basically. Yeah, and it really pisses me off because the whole point of the stuff that comes out during the week is that the stream is like the big main event, and then the little like news stories are supposed to be like these updates of different current events that are also abridged enough to where someone could realistically listen to all of that over the course of a week because it's not that damn long. And usually the people who write that weird stuff, again, I've never seen before. So it's just, drive-by type. This is them. Yeah, I said the same thing, and I got somebody mad at me for saying that. I'm like, I'm supposed to, as an American, want the American president to not live just because I didn't vote for them. Like, what the hell? I even said the same thing. I hope Obama lives, long, because none of the bad stuff he did in office is going to be erased if he dies. Like, his death won't change the fate of anyone that got bombed in any of those 7 countries he was going to war with. So it really is not a thing that crosses my mind of being hopeful to have happen. Yeah, I don't know what it is. People really do hate politicians, like in like a really irrational way, because you would think you just vote them out, that's it. So they actually are optimistic over bad things happening to them, like physically bad things. Because if I think a bad thing should happen to someone that's running for office, it would be that they just don't win. Like, I'm not one of these morbid bastards who's like sitting around going because some politician that I didn't like, bit the dust or whatever, or croaked. Rambo just got announced to appear in the next Mortal Kombat. Hopefully they undo the SJW trash from the previous game. I mean, I don't really know what to say. I didn't play the last one. I didn't even know Ruben liked Rambo. He kept this away from me. He let his liking of Rambo be a secret. Yeah, this new story with these three senators getting sick uh, actually screws over Trump's nominee because if they show up sick to vote, they can infect more people. And you remember a lot of those senators are very old, so if they get the disease, we can call it a wrap on them. I'm very anti-Saudi. I want them to burn. Um, Again, the thing with a lot of those other countries is they just have people in office who are very demonic in terms of the stuff they do. So if I heard something bad happen to them, I wouldn't really be that sad or torn up about it. They should have aired that whole debate on Comedy Central. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was watching. Like every 10 seconds, you had Trump interrupting Biden. And then on Fox, like, no, no, Biden interrupted first. Play this part. I'm like, two wrongs don't make a right. Binky3 says hi. This person is announcing that they murdered Binky and Binky2. That's why they're Binky3. They got rid of the other two Binkies. No, they're Binky the third. Let's see what this thing is. Oh, I didn't even read Mo's comment. I remember this one instance during the Trump Biden debate a couple days ago, and Biden called him out and advising people to inject bleach, and Trump is like, obviously, it's a joke. Yeah, he said it was sarcasm. See, the problem with doing that is when you're, especially the president, a lot of your words get printed in places, so they don't actually say that you're joking about it. So even if you were, they still are going to report it as Trump said this in response to that. Like if I was a senator and I said jokingly, man, we should go burn this person's house down, and I said some other senator's name, they would take that as a threat because they couldn't hear my tone of voice during the interview. My news voice. Do you think Trump was being sarcastic though? Um, I don't even. Again, his response to this whole thing has been kind of goofy. Though the one thing that I do have to give him credit for is that there are Democrats in office that have screwed this up, like with Cuomo and putting people in those nursing homes and get to where they all got infected and died. So he is not the only person who should get blamed over this stuff because a lot of these governors acted goofy too. I did honestly; those accounts are dead. Yeah, because you slashed them. Yeah, that's why they got. The Kavanaugh thing was the funniest, probably confirmation for a Supreme Court justice in the world because they literally had everyone on their side and they still failed. Like, not only did they not stop, there were multiple Republicans who were kind of on the fence uh, from voting for him, but they also even let one of their own mansion vote for him. Like Manchin is literally the only Democratic senator to vote for both of Trump's Supreme Court nominees, and nobody gets mad at him. Nobody talks about him. Nobody's trying to outraise him to get him out all nothing. It's like whatever. And on Twitter, they were justifying it to themselves. I know we all said we hated Kavanaugh, but it's a good thing he voted for him because that means he's going to win the seat in West Virginia, even though he's pissed us off before with his votes. This is like a good thing. With Democrats, it's all about playing on the same team. So you can have your own senators or members of your team vote in ways that are antagonistic to you, and like we're supposed to just not care. Getting slapped with a fresh whole salmon is painful. All right. Ruben vanished again. After announcing Rambo, he dipped. You know what it is? He saw Kevin's comment about Rambo 1 through 4 being great films and went to go watch them back to back. So I got to stream for 9 hours for him to show up again. Now that is suspicious. The Democrats are always suspicious with Gabbard for siding with Republicans, but they let Manchin get away with everything. Yeah, he's the only out of, you know how many Democrats are in the Senate, over 40 of them. He is the only one to vote for both of Trump's Supreme Court nominees. And you did, like, all the little castigating that Collins gets or whatever, you don't see any of that being applied to Manchin. I don't see people on Twitter crying about him. I don't see people on YouTube crying about him. Like, they just let him get away with it. Oh, it was a good thing that he did that. You wouldn't be saying it if Sanders did that. Well, again, Collins is a politician that gets, in my opinion, a lot of unnecessary hate. Because Manchin actually was one of 5 Democrats that voted against the 2018, which year was that? Yeah, the 2018 vote to get out of Yemen. So it was him and Doug Jones and like 3 other Democrats. And she was one of the, I think it was 5 or 6 Republicans that voted to get out of there. And she's done that repeatedly, where she's been one of the few ones that wants to get out of that war. So I don't have a problem with her. And hell, all these progressives that were like celebrating at the prospect of getting rid of her, that support single payer, still don't realize that Gideon person, that Democrat that's run against her, doesn't even support single payer. Same thing with the one that's running to get McConnell out. McGarth opposes single payer as well. Same thing with the one that wants to get rid of McSally in Arizona. Opposes single payer as well. Like, I don't get why these they really want you to believe, well, this person opposes my main policy priorities, but I need to vote for them because I don't like the other person. Just don't vote for either one of them, or don't support either one of them. And I'd rather have the Republican there if it means that people are actually going to get pissed when they vote, in a way that screws people over. If I had a penny for every time I heard I'll vote for Trump if he sends second round of stimulus checks, I'll still be broke, but less broke. Yeah, that second stimulus check is starting to seem like one of those 4-leaf clover stories. Just never going to get it. I think that there is some money funneling with McGarth. If you look at the actual campaign, they're not really taking it seriously. Yeah, because she's not going to beat McConnell. It was the same thing with look up the last chick he ran against in 2014. Oh my God, McConnell's going to lose. And then she got, clobbered, failed terribly. A second one just got passed in the House. Now, yeah, but the Senate, McConnell's going to block it. The closest galaxy I don't even know what Kevin is saying. He's just typing all kind of stuff that's off topic. McConnell is a good boogeyman figure for resistance. Exactly. That's why they keep running these weak bastards against him, because we've already established this. They make more money when they look like they're losing. So if they don't have the Senate, they can raise more money for their different Senate seat campaigns. Same thing with McConnell, where he's the boogeyman for the left, where, oh my God, we have to get rid of them. Donate to this lady that nobody even likes. I want to smoke what Kevin is smoking, is what Mo says. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He's about to get banned for promoting cigarettes. This is a drug-free stream. And that'd be funny if in the background I had like a little poster of a cigarette being with like, that circle with the little red, the red circle with the little line crossing through it, have a cigarette on there. This is a no smoking zone. Blue Dream Hybrid is, I don't know what that is. It's going to not even read your stuff anymore. But what does the galaxy have to do with what I was saying? That's the worst part of the streams where like somebody just decides, I know you're talking about this one thing, but screw you. Because that's what happened on the one where the guy got confronted for like spamming me in the chat when I wouldn't read his comment. Like everybody was talking about what was it, Super, like the newest manga chapter or whatever, and everyone was in sync and we were all discussing this, and then he's like, "Why would you read what I'm writing? Why would you read what I'm typing? Pay attention to me." It's like, get lost. If I had a nickel for every time I go to a stream and I don't get my comment read, I could buy a yacht. But he wants to get mad because I won't read his comments, even though most people who stream wouldn't anyway. No, that was nuts. Well, it's all about thinking you have a connection because there's actually another person on who has 20,000 subs, and he did a stream where he was talking about this guy that was donating to him and this other person and was like getting mad they wouldn't talk to him. And they're like, apparently this person thinks because he watches us and donates to us, we're like all now his friends. So this person thinks that because he comments on my streams, we're like buddies, and he called us online chat friends. I was like, what the hell? It's like people forming some weird connections on here with you. I've been on your channel for 3 years. Where now? I was like, I've been on one guy's channel for 10 years. Me and him have never spoken to each other. I don't have a problem with that. Hey, we already talked about the creepy guy that what he called only knew my first name and my voice and like looked on YouTube for hours until he saw a video where he recognized my voice. You got some real creeps online. Running for city council. I'm new here, so I don't know what your background is. I've thought about running for things before, but it's kind of hard to do that when the virus is never ending and whatnot. So I'm a little reluctant to. No, there was I mentioned the story before. The chick from the first Friday the 13th got stalked by some clown to where she stopped acting on camera, like she would only do voice acting. That's what that reminds me of, where you get like so freaked out by people on, you know, when you're doing something you think is normal and then somebody just comes around and disturbs you. You're like, the hell with this. Now, I can name a lot of celebrities that got stalked by some freak. Like, look at what happened with David Letterman, where he had that woman bring her son to his house and try to claim that she was married to him. And what the hell is wrong with people? You ever? Yeah, I've seen all of them except for the reboot. Ruben won't write anything else. He says his last comment was, "I don't know." What's he writing that to? Oh, he was saying, "I don't know," when I asked, "What does that have to do with the stream?" Yeah, a lot of people love doing that, where they come to the stream and they're like, "To hell with what's being discussed." I had this one guy talking about some African, it was like a city or something. What does this have to do with progressives? Like, just go, leave. I just find that very unusual. It's called a redirect. Well, they need to be more direct and going somewhere else to address those things. Again, my account is no more special than anybody else's. They can put up, if he wants to do a video talking about whatever country or city that was, he can do it. But for some reason, it's more preferable to bring it up somewhere that has no business of having it mentioned there. SpongeBob movie 3 was supposed to air in August, and then I never heard any more updates. Yeah, they often do that where they just silently cancel something. So at first you're hearing updates about it, and then after a while, they just disappear. What if he paid you by the minute to chat with him? Yeah, I'm not going to be balked by someone to speak with them. If I don't want to speak with you, there's no coins that are going to make talking to you alluring to me. I'm not a prostitute. I'm not going to bend over because you throw some coins my way. You're Kevin's referencing the first movie. Yeah, it's hot as hell. You gotta be hella lonely to pay someone to talk to you. Well, I mean, you got to remember, I've had multiple instances where people that I had no problem just not speaking to anymore, like act weird in the sense that they can't accept the idea that this person doesn't want to talk to them anymore. So I mentioned that with Triple L, I blocked her phone number and I blocked her on Twitter, and then she sent me an email, and I'm like, can you just go? Like, are you not able to take a hint that if someone is blocking you on multiple websites, they don't want to talk to you? And then with that guy that like followed me on YouTube or whatever, uh, I blocked him last year, and then what was it, like 15, 16, like over a year later, he made an account just to send me a friend request. It's like, why do you think you got blocked? Because we don't want to speak to you. What the hell? Pull out that Thanos snap. My favorite bots. Nah, they need to go away. Let's see what else is here. Did nobody else see that where the guy was like spamming all the little emojis? And he's got some weird username. Tell you that people do stuff on streams they never do on videos. Like I haven't seen somebody just keep talking, because stuff like that is done on a stream to actively get the attention of the people that are there. Whereas if you do it on a video, you might not actually have people see what you wrote. Just like with the guy that did the like creepy account thing where he sent me a friend request a year later and then dug for my account on here by looking for videos with my voice because he didn't actually know what I looked like. He just knew my first name, what I sound, and I was like, he tried to claim that if you block someone on here, it's censorship. But the whole point sometimes of blocking people is that they occasionally will screw over what you're trying to talk about. So if I'm doing a stream and then this person gets to type all these emojis that are not actually addressing what I'm saying, it's kind of impeding my ability to actually convey my thoughts. An aura. No, what it is that when you speak to them, they do things that piss you off, and then you tell them, hey, don't do this anymore, and they still keep doing it, and then like they expect you to just keep wanting to talk to them even though you already told them, hey, if you keep doing this, it's over. That's why I said a lot of these modern friendships are a joke because it's just people trying to get as much out of you as possible while giving you very little or nothing at all back. It's censorship to be blocked on one person's channel while being able to speak on millions of other. But that's really more about being upset that you can't say anything directly to that person. Like if I wanted to call Ruben, I don't know, poopy head or something, and then he blocks me, I can still call him that on my channel. I just can't call him that on his. I can still express how I feel about him, but it's harder to make sure that he's seen it because I can't write it on his stuff. Just be careful. Some kind of warning. Yeah, I had some clown do that like 5 years ago, and then somebody else, some broad that was mad that I made fun of her serial killer crush, said you should be dead instead of him. So I guess that's the closest I came to it. What a lovely community. Well, like I said, whenever you let anyone get on something, you're bound to have people who do weird things, like act kind of strange. That's why I stopped responding to comments because it just seems like the whole point of it is just to either harass you or write something that's like way like overly combative. So these websites are kind of just really ridiculous with the people that are on them. It is what it is. All right, Ruben, do you have anything left to say before I go and do other things or what? No comment. Oh, he vanished. Well, again, I do intend to oh while I was gone, what did that guy say? He was spamming emojis, like a big amount of emojis that are this long. He was just like this. What's a good way of saying it? He would type it in, then enter, then type it in, then enter. He did it like 8 times. Let me count how many times it was. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 7 times. He's the Ruben's the troll inquirer. He wants to know what all the trolls are saying. But yeah, I'm out. I'll put up a video tomorrow. Stream on Monday. Um, Again, the name is really weird looking. It's a bunch of letters typed together as the first and last name. So I think it probably is just a bot, but whatever. People on here are crazy. Oh, there's James. I hadn't seen him all stream. I was so worried about him. But yeah, next time you put out a debut album or some album and you don't tell me about it, I'm banning you. Because that's no way to treat someone that's been supportive of your music. So you're on the chopping block. You're on the hit list. You're gonna join the 300 other people I got removed. But yeah, I'll see you later.